Am I the asshole for telling my dad that's not going to happen when he joked about hitting me? So I, 29 male, live with my dad, 50 male, because of his diabetes, injured back, and heart problems. My dad is really an old school type hood dude. Sorry, I just laughed because my cat, she was trying to lick her asshole and then she fell backwards off of what she was on. Okay, sorry. That was so funny. But also thinks of himself as a funny guy and a wise mentor. At one point, he had called me into his room so I could take some trash out for him. Now, for context, I suffer from achalasia and have just recently healed after a 1.5 year long recovery from an esophagectomy. Sorry. I'm stronger, gaining weight and muscle, and feeling good about myself. Editor's note, achalasia is a swallowing condition affecting the esophagus. He notices and says I look good and must get back into self-defense. I'm like, yeah, cool. All right. We joke about how I used to be thin as a rail, but he's like, even with you gaining all this weight, you need to get back to the gym. How are you going to stop me from chopping you in the throat? And I'm still laughing and saying, that's not going to happen. And man gets mad at me, like jokes and laughter stop, and he goes, what did you just say? Like I insulted him. I'm sitting there blinking and he's like, don't you disrespect me like that. Don't you know I used to knock 6'4", 6'5" dudes out? So I try to walk away and he stops me and tells me to apologize to him. And I say no because it was a dumb joke and not meant to offend him in any way. He says it doesn't matter if I meant to offend him. It hit his soul wrong. An offense was taken, so as a man, I should apologize to keep the peace. I'm so tired. Am I the asshole for my response and for refusing to apologize? No, when your dad can get fucked. Literally. Dude, get your panties out of a bunch in your little tiny... Sorry, it's too early on in this episode to be saying stuff like that. I gotta chill. But anyways, yeah, you're 29 years old. Like, please, why is this man acting like... I mean, regardless of the age, like, obviously your dad shouldn't be joking about hitting you and saying that he could literally beat the F out of you. Like, I don't think that's good, actually. I think that's actually... What else has he... Like, how did he treat you growing up? Because I feel like this being the story has to give me... it just gives me the idea that he probably treated you like actual cow manure. Okay. The downvoted commenter says, my opinion is you're the asshole. You're bantering with your father, all is fun, and then to me it sounded as if you were declaring dominance at that moment. You don't have to win all the battles, especially with your father. You're living in his house and could have easily taken a secondary position to him. It's his home. He raised you. There's nothing wrong with building him up and letting him know that he is the king of the castle and that you will always have his back. And also say that you trust that he will always have your back. Mutual respect. Show him respect, hug him, and apologize. He may apologize back. Then take him for an ice cream cone, even if you could take your father in a fight. Girl, what the hell is going on? Letting him know that he is king of his castle? If my husband has to be called the king of his castle, he's getting sent straight to fucking prison. Straight to prizzy wizzy. And honestly, going into solitary confinement, because that is actually the nastiest thing I've ever heard. You're not the king of the castle, buddy. You're really not, and I promise you that one. You probably live in a 2-bed, 2-bath, so get out of here. Someone said, Dad, I understand you're having a bad day, but I'm not your punching bag. No matter what he says, just say that over and over again. If you have to say it 25 times in a row, he'll grow tired of it and give up before you do. This person said, tell him that his comment about assaulting you wasn't funny and he needs to apologize to you first, not the asshole. Yeah, probably not funny, and I think anyone in the world knows that, but some of these, like, macho, big men who care about being kings of the castle and, like, are super, like, you know, those meatheads that are just like, you need to be a man. You know the color pink? Don't even think about the color pink ever in your life, because that is not being a man. That is not masculine of you. You don't even ever look at the color pink. don't even don't even be around the color pink. Like, those kind of guys think that it's totally fine. They're like, oh, yeah, of course I hit my children when they were little, when they were 5 years old, of course, because I was teaching him how to be a man. Okay? That's literally the epitome of those kinds of men or dads. Okay, this is the update nearly 10 months later. So it's been 10 months since the event seen here, and I took a lot of advice and thought about what all of you said, and a lot on my past with my dad, the verbal abuse since I was 15, long before his illness. Some examples: when I was 19, he woke me out of my sleep for it and lectured me and went on a pity party for so long my legs gave out and I ate carpet. Like, it was literally an hour of, oh, my parents didn't raise me, I feel disrespected when you talk back, blah, 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 blah. He also, I think, threatened me saying, it's taking everything for me to not hit you when you disrespect me. Or when I was sleeping in because I had a late night job and my dad woke me up 3 times. And on the last one at around 11, after waking me up at 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., he asked why I was still asleep. And when I pointed out that he keeps waking me up, he goes, well, you need to be up. What if you had an early morning job like me? Or telling me I need to toughen up because if I went to jail, I would be SA'd. Mind you, I'm an introvert who literally avoids going outside and very specifically didn't hang around gangs when I did live in the hood. So, what the F? Or saying his screaming and ranting and all that was supposed to prepare me for the world. That if I couldn't take him doing it, how could I deal with a boss or partner doing it? Or do you know how insulting it is to me for you to walk around here not taking care of yourself? You look like me, but with a perfect body while I got this spare tire. When I have surgery scars, depression, and a history of achalasia. And it wasn't just me. He doesn't want his wife being friends with his friends and forces her to be on video calls with him when she's at work and when she's asleep. This is a man who hates my grandma's best friend for being opinionated and once broke down crying in her car because I don't like bothering nobody, when she had to take him to the doctor because he was too dumb to realize, hey, if they anesthese me to clean out the plaque in my veins, I may need a ride home as they legally can't release you. He also doesn't like people doing him favors because now he owes them. And when others told him to treat me better or treat other people better, he would tell them, women don't know how to raise a man if the speaker was a woman, or tell men not to tell him doesn't come with a manual. Anything except changing. So I sat there and I thought about all that, and I packed my stuff and I got someone else to take care of him, and I left. I moved out, currently live halfway across the country in another state. Went low/no contact with him, got a therapist, went back into my education for my job, trying to unlearn all of this venom, and now that I've blocked him on most media, he's angsting. Quote, I don't know what I did. Quote, parenting doesn't come with a manual. Quote, I did the best that I could. And my family wants me to at least make some concessions and soften the blow because no one wants to feel like they failed. But my therapist tells me that it's my right to draw boundaries. Well, that's my update. Out of the situation, still alive, still healing. Thanks for reading this ramble. See, I knew this man was going to be that type of man. I literally knew he was going to be that. Dude, I can't. That's crazy. This is like also so scary because this type of, frankly, incel behavior is so, I mean, I definitely feel like maybe it's not as bad now, but it got really bad during all of the Andrew Tate stuff, and that was like the scariest time ever. And I know this is like old news, but I just actually I literally binge watched the Adolescence show on Netflix, which highly recommend for you to watch that show if you haven't already. It's a really good show. And it was like genuinely exactly what it was, just like a little kid being raised by, the dad definitely had anger issues, that's for sure. But the family in general was definitely like a loving family, and this 13-year-old kid literally murdered another 13-year-old little girl because he was involved in like all this incel, watching like Andrew Tate and all this stuff. Mind you, like, he was being bullied a little bit too, but I definitely think that like him engaging in all of that media And watching all of that stuff and researching about all of that stuff obviously has big impacts on young, vulnerable, naive, super easily influenced young little kids. And that's just crazy, especially to think that, like, yeah, that's just a show, but it also happens in real life. And that's so scary. Really happy for this person, though. So happy. And people need to educate themselves about abusive family members and being low contact and no contact, because I'm so sick of reading stories of people in their families being like, you need to talk to your dad again. Hey, so the dad that abused you all of your life, yeah, you need to make him feel better and less guilty and start talking to him again, because, you know, he's your dad at the end of the day. Like, it's pissing me off, honestly. The more I read these stories, it pisses me off more and more, because I'm like, just how about educate yourself? How about that? How about that? Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.